I forgot to put the reserve signs down. That's on me. That's on me. Because I'm like you. Get me the front row seat. If it's paid or unpaid, I want front row. All right. I want to bring up my mentor, my friend. I hesitate to call boss because he doesn't treat me like I'm an underling. But he has allowed me to do some things here with the Urban League that not most employers would even allow you to do. They'll probably tell you to hold on, hold back, wait, but he has been a phenomenal support in allowing the Urban League to grow and flourish. And I want to introduce to you Dr. D, for some, Darnell Williams to others, the President CEO of Urban League.
Good morning, everyone. Every time he does that, I know it's going to cost me more at the end of the week. But I'm very grateful to be here this morning, and I want to just start out by saying I'm very proud of these students, our participants, and folks you are. I've watched you over the 16 and the 20 weeks, and I am immensely humbled by your commitment, your dedication. When you first got here, you had that deer look. And now I see you as seasoned, savvy technology and digital performers, and I'm so grateful that you call the Urban League now part of your portfolio. I want to acknowledge with a great deal of thanks to our sponsors, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the Executive Office of Labor and Workforce Development, Bank of America, Google.com, BNY Mellon, Arthur F. Blanchard Trust, Comcast Foundation, and Verizon. This stuff does not happen without sponsors. And William has already acknowledged our instructors, but I want to underscore my appreciation for the work that they do and the surrounding staff that's in the room for making this stuff happen. So let's give all of them a round of applause. I'm very grateful that we have Mr. Xavier Jones, a designer from PUMA, who is going to be introduced by William later. But I do want to acknowledge your presence, Xavier, and looking forward to hearing your comments. I'm just supposed to bring greetings, but you guys know that I always have something to say. So let me see if I can drop this mic for you for a moment. I want to put some parting words into the graduates, into your spirit, into your hearing, but also to the family members and those that are here who've joined you this morning to give you a sense of how proud they are of what you've accomplished. It was not easy to come here every day for the past 20 weeks. Would you agree?
I agree.
But you did it, and now it's starting to pay off. And it shouldn't have been easy, because now we know firsthand from looking you in the eyes, watching how you do. I even know your gestures of how you eat lunch. Because I watch you, I know what you, I know mostly some of the things, what you eat and what you have not eaten for lunch for these past 20 weeks. Don't think I have not been watching. But I want you to know that there's now within your embodiment, within your toolbox, you should have a sense of personal power and influence. You can reach your goals in your own way. I want you to keep these following traits in your pocket. You can stand in authority as you walk and have this inner confidence and trust in your skills and your abilities. I want you to be assertive, not aggressive, as you walk and communicate with an impression of self-respect and respect for others. I want you to have the image of yourself. I want you to project and image consistency with strong leadership. And lastly, I want you to project with a firm voice, avoiding using slang, jargon, or vocal hesitation that can hinder effective communications. Learn how to become a good writer, because every good writer knows you have to become an excellent editor. I am proud to stand here to welcome all of you here this morning into the family of the Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts. Incidentally, we turn 100 next year, and we're looking at I think I look good for 100. We turn 100, but this is, I am the 20th president. And so out of the first 100 years, about 20 of those years have belonged to yours truly. And I couldn't have done it without the sponsors in the room, the staff, and to all of you who have made our work very honorable. It is a moral high ground where we stand here. And as the former national president of the National Urban League, Whitney M. Young Jr. said, I would rather be prepared for an opportunity that never comes than have an opportunity come and I am not prepared. Graduates, we believe over the 16 and 20 weeks that you have been here in this building, that you are prepared. Now go out there and show the world what you can do. Thank you so much.
Give it up one more time for the president, the CEO. Now, I have two individuals, and I did not speak to them at all. I just put them on the agenda to speak. And the reason why I did that, I wanted to come straight from the heart. I didn't want nothing prepared, you know, something, you know, you grab off the shelf, but I wanted to come straight from the heart. So I would like to call Taja Ricketts up, and she's with the coding program MSIMBO.
I was really surprised to receive this honor. I looked at the program today and thought, my name is on here. Did I not communicate with someone? Did I miss an email or something? I had no idea. But again, it is an honor because I think all of the students that are here in my consortium are talented. I do think that we've all worked very, very hard. So I do want to give credit to all of you because I was able to learn based off of, you know, working with you all and really just, that is one way that I learned is by working with other people. I go solitary and then I go, or interpersonal and then intrapersonal as far as my learning style. So it was good to bounce ideas off of everyone and then look at different things that they may have done different in coding and kind of take some ideas and share those kinds of things. And those days where we were freaking out, wondering, what are we doing here? Like, I don't understand what's going on. And able to lean on each other with that, so that was great. When I first signed up for this program, I thought it was a great opportunity, but then the first day I instantly thought, how am I gonna do this? Like, I have no idea. I know nothing about coding. The closest I'd ever gotten to coding was maybe playing around with a little HTML in my blog, which I have to start up again, but I really hadn't done anything similar to that. Of course, I'm a millennial, so I'm a tech baby in that way, but had never really known how it all works in the background. But this course definitely opened my eyes to how a lot of that works. It's also been a helpful exercise in me recognizing what I'm absolutely capable of. I was always aware that I was capable of great things, but this was a challenge for me that definitely showed me that I can conquer the most difficult things, because consistently coming in every day of the week for 20 weeks and you cannot be late. Like, if you oversleep, figure it out. You know, you're gonna have to have superhuman speed to get to where you need to go or something. But just having that dedication.
That's okay, that's what I'm trying to get up.
Oh,
I apologize.
That's okay. But having that dedication was important, and having come through it now and realizing that it is something that absolutely can be done. Not to say that I'm late all the time for everything, that's not what I mean to say. But, you know, having long nights of studying and then being able to get right back up and come in the morning and then learn again and apply what you learned yesterday and do it again the next day and the next day and the next day, no matter what, was a practice. It really was. So having come through it, and seeing a final product of our projects, and having had the opportunity to network with so many amazing people through this program, and just through taking initiative and knowing that I want to be in this industry and networking in outside events and things like that. So it also allowed me to create almost like a homeostasis of managing your outside world with your professional world, and learning different ways to make it grow. And again, there are a lot of amazing opportunities that have come out of this. In a few weeks, I'll be taking a course on blockchain technology, which was made possible through participation in this program. So that things like that, I'm incredibly grateful for. And of course, it takes a lot of hard work and dedication, and you know, nothing can be done in a vacuum. Of course, there were definitely people that were supportive and reached out, and so I'm incredibly thankful for them. But I'm incredibly proud of myself to have come through it and to receive this honor of being the class representative. So thank you.
All right, we have Wanya Ashley from Digital. I forgot to mention 2 minutes. I forgot to mention that.
I'm very surprised, but I have to say, I'm just going to say, as a representative of our class DIGIUL, I am so glad and so honored to have been able to meet all of you guys. I had just spoken with one of my fellow students, and this morning I had. So this morning I had spoken with a fellow student of ours, and you know, she was speaking about the challenges of attending the class and learning new things. And I had to remind her, it's just like riding a bike. We're not going to get it overnight, but you keep on doing it. Repetition is very important. And I would just say it has been challenging. I had gone through some challenges with my, not necessarily health, like I was super sick, but like some physical challenges. But what drove me is my passion. I love this. I love this. And for many years I've done so many things. I've worked as an administrative assistant. I worked as a project coordinator helping other people. And I love that too. I mean, I love sharing what I know, and I don't mind doing that as well. But my passion is graphic design. It has always been there since I've been a child. I've always loved images. I remember when I was little and I would open up Ebony magazine or Jet magazine, and I'd see these wonderful, beautiful women and men, and how they would hook up a table, like in terms of food. It was just amazing to me. I've always been captivated by visual things. And so I just want to say to all of my fellow students that just keep on moving forward. Don't feel as if you don't know enough. It's just the beginning. If you have a passion and a drive for it, keep it going. I always say it's not over until the fat lady sings, and she ain't singing yet, I don't think. So I just want to say thank you so much to Mr. Watkins, Mr. Williams, and also, where is he? Sydney. Sydney has been so instrumental in sharing so many things with myself and the students in the class. It has been mind-blowing. There's so many things that I thought I knew, and I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, like, we had this exercise where we had to cut out forms. And the way in which Sydney cut these forms out, I was just stunned. I said, I've never seen that done like that before. So there's always an opportunity to learn. Whenever I wake up, I always say, if I'm not learning something new, there's something wrong. So just, you know, be encouraged, hold on to what you have learned and just keep on moving forward. If this is the route that you want to go, do not get discouraged.
Thank you. I want to introduce this young man, Xavier Jones, to you. A couple of weeks ago, we were having a discussion with Reebok about how could we align our program, our digital marketing program, with Reebok. And came across an email that said, there's a gentleman here who's an outstanding designer. You know, he's done some phenomenal things throughout the industry in sneaker design. And his name is Xavier Jones, and we think that he should come and speak. I happened to go on a tour, myself and Sydney, of Reebok, and we ran across Xavier Jones. He just happens to come out of this room. And they wanted to introduce us to him. And when I spoke to him, I felt his passion. I felt his passion about the Urban League. He said, man, if it wasn't for the Urban League, he said, whatever you want me to do, I'll do. And just so happens last night, I get a text message because he wasn't getting any of my emails, and I had him on the agenda to speak. And he just happens to send me a text message, and this is how God works. He said, hey, you know, I've just been, I've just taken a job with PUMA. And, you know, I want to help in any type of way I can. I said, well, man, you're speaking tomorrow. Oh, I didn't get those, so I'm there. And so, you know, I want to introduce you to a dynamic young man, and he's going to speak to you about where they are and where they can be, coming from the Urban League. Not a traditional route, but, you know, those of us who've been dealing with the tech industry, we understand that there was a digital divide. So in order for many of us to get into the industry, we have to go in non-traditional means to get there sooner rather than later. So I want to introduce to you Xavier Jones from PUMA.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate being here. It's an honor. I want to give yourself a round of applause for completing this course. I'm proud and happy of all you guys. So for me, like Mr. Watkins was just saying, man, the Urban League holds a special place in my heart. I'm from Flint, Michigan. Grew up, born there. Grew up being a huge sports fan and passionate about apparel, footwear. Those things really drove me. Super passionate about it and always wanted to be in that industry, but I had no idea it even existed. Just so happened, when I was about in 3rd, going to 4th grade, my cousin became a counselor at the Urban League of Flint. And I came there and I did a summer class and then I did an art program. And literally, one of the classes, we had an assignment to draw a sneaker. And literally changed my entire life. At that moment, I realized that I could potentially do this for a career, but I thought you had to be an athlete to draw your own shoes. So I went extra hard in sports too. So I was like, yeah, I gotta go pro to potentially design my own shoe. But what that moment did, it allowed for me to dream bigger than just my surroundings. And my mother encouraged me to continue going. And man, just along that way, all the different things I've learned, all the different challenges, and just to have the opportunity to now do it as a full-time career, to meet people I've dreamed of, to be able to work on product that I never thought I'd be able to touch is a true blessing. And so for me, I see myself as a vessel for you guys and a true kind of testament of what the Urban League has done for my life, and it kind of changed my whole perspective. So for me, the Urban League holds a dear place in my heart. It means a lot to me. This was kind of the start for me, and I'm just happy that I could share my story with you guys. And as well, if you guys need anything from me, any advice, I'm here for you guys. Again, anything's accomplishable with hard work and dedication. I work 9 to 9s. I'm usually at the office, the last one there every night, because I appreciate it so much. I understand what this has done for me, so I don't take it for granted. So every day I go in like it's my first day. So for me, it's just a passion of mine, and you guys keep following your passion, and anything's possible. So, I have to say.
So I'm gonna take the other side of his speech. You know, one of the things that I realize about when people come to the Urban League is like what he said. It's about seeing that possibility. You know, a lot of times when you're in a traditional setting, you know, there's not someone in front of you that looked like you, because it was his relative that saw something in him and said, hey, come here. You know, and a lot of times when individuals come to the Urban League, it's because of word of mouth. People that's in this room that says, hey, go to the Urban League. Try that route. I know you went through college. I know you've done this. Or I know you like to draw. They have a program over there. You know, this is that stop. And if anyone can help us in the Urban League move this movement, it's the individuals in this room. From our sponsors, our supporters, our friends, our family, it's gonna be those individuals. And a lot of times when you have black and brown sitting at a table and there's no one encouraging them but to be the janitor, but to be an athlete and not the owner, we have to change the paradigm. And so the paradigm shift is these non-traditional routes, because we'll get there a little quicker than, you know, later. So I appreciate you. I appreciate all that you've done in the industry, and my students know I'm big on time, and I understand when you go to work, especially as a black and brown person, when you go to work, or even as a woman, when you go to work, you got to put in more hours than your counterpart. You got to be there earlier than your counterpart. And you got to stay there later than your counterpart. You can't leave at 5 o'clock when they leave. You got to stay. You got to put in a little bit more time. And that's even to talk about even becoming an entrepreneur. Even if you take these gifts and talents that you've learned in this classroom, you're gonna have to stay later. You're gonna have to get up earlier. When you sleep, you're not even sleeping. You're thinking while you're sleeping. That's what sleep is all about. Just thinking. How do I do it better tomorrow? How do I get it? That's what sleeping is about for an entrepreneur. Everybody else rests, you know, but you're always thinking of what can I do differently. You know, so I want to thank a Massachusetts Convention Center, and I see Miss O'Brien in the back there. They have said to us they would like to take on a couple of our junior designers to help out with our marketing campaign of the 100th anniversary. So I want you to give it up for them. We also, because of Xavier and others like him, Reebok has access to send over portfolios and names of individuals that they're going to interview for a junior designer position. And as far as the coding is concerned, we have talked with Amazon. Amazon has done some big things with us in terms of our coding. They have given us their software platform called Amazon Educate. So quite a few of the students have received certifications and badges through that portal, which leads them into the jobs for Amazon Web Services, which you don't see when you go online and you're trying to find a job for Amazon. You're going to get the facilities. You're going to get the shipping and logistic jobs. But we have the portal that gets us into the Amazon Web Services. And we're also some of our students will be interviewing with Wayfair. So there's strong potential here. There's strong potential here. And I tell people, those that come here and those who wish to come here, as well as funders, if you go to non-traditional route, you're going to deal with the mothers and fathers of the young people that you are funding for 10 or 20 years down the road. So what I mean by that is that the Urban League, we deal with the middle of the bookends. You have your kindergarten, where they're putting a lot of money into the STEM programs. Then you have, on the other end, you have your 2-year degree schools, 4-year degree schools, and the mothers and fathers that are in the middle, they can't go there because they may be tapped out on financial aid, or they can't afford financial aid. But as Wanya just said, she has a passion to do this work. She can't go back to kindergarten.
No way.
Right? So we're stuck in the middle. And so those are the individuals that we deal with. And guess what it causes? It causes an intergenerational conversation. I remember when I was learning my alphabets, and I go to my mother, she can pull out some cue cards and say A on one side and apple on the other. There's a picture of an apple. Now these students, these young people, are going home and saying, Mom, can you help me with this HTML? And Mom and Dad doesn't know or have a clue what they're talking about. So the programs that we have right now, these parents can talk with their children about code or design. So it creates an intergenerational conversation. You know, that's what this is all about. It's about really, truly engaging and being intentional about diversity. That's what this is about. And I want to thank, and I know you've already mentioned this, I want to thank Bank of America, I want to thank Google, I want to thank BNY Mellon, I want to thank Comcast, I want to thank MCCA, I want to thank Amazon. All of those corporations have said, hey, we want to put some skin in the game. So I want to thank all of them, and I want you to thank them too. All right, can you come up, sir?
Yes, sir.
And we're gonna, did you stand?
Yeah, no problem.
We're gonna pass up these certificates. All right, I'm gonna do coding, MSIMBO. Pascal, Yuri.
Congratulations, Pascal.
Arafat Akbar. Dayuta Ayed. Cheryl Brown. Jordan Joseph. Brought a team with you. Taja Ricketts. All right. Oyado Ali, oh, excuse me, Aladeo. Who's that? He's downstairs. I seen him earlier. He's downstairs. He's shy. Chris Rowe. All right, DIGIUL. Wanya Ashley. Virginia Askew. Shakia Atkins. Miss Atkins. Janae Crenshaw. Kyle Givens. Rachel Gow. Alan Major. Marcus Shaw. And Annie St. John Joseph. Now that's it for that part of the program here. Gentlemen can sit back down. I'm gonna give out these gifts, but I want to let you all know you have business cards and a business card holder, leather, not pleather, leather, from Bank of America. So this is a gift for you guys. Yeah, Alicia Verity, can you stand please, ma'am? Thank you, ma'am. So we'll pass those out, or you can come get them on the way out. Just some closing remarks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. 10,000 tongues. Thank you. I always like this part of the program because I know that we've accomplished what we were set out to do from day one. I mean, together as partners, we've accomplished that. And it is my hope and my prayer that the information that you have gained from the Urban League, that you blow it out there to the world and pass it on to others. Don't be what others would say concealers of the truth, right? Tell everybody about the truth of the Urban League and what it has provided you and your family, because that's what it's all about, making sure it connects with your family.
I just want to I just want us to make sure that all of us should probably just take a moment of silence for Aretha Franklin. Because I think that she was such a special spirit. She moved all of our souls in terms of her music, and I know she touched my life on a personal level. 4 hours from Detroit, which is where I'm from, in Gary, Indiana. But I think she just represented what I call the excellence. That she was the queen of soul, and that was not a false title. She was the real deal. So if you just bow your heads and give a moment of silence for Aretha, as we would say in the black community, reread. May you rest in peace, Aretha Franklin. Thank you.
All right, that ends our program. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out today. You can take pictures, do Hollywood, you know how to do it. All right, because everybody got cell phones now with cameras.
Can we have the graduates so we can take a picture because they were really too fast for me to do.
Okay. All right, can I get the graduates, MSIMBO graduates first?
You want me in that picture?
I'll come over this way.
Hold on, Alicia. Let me stir it up.
Yeah, right.
Turn this way. Come in, come closer. Come on. Come in closer. Good. Because William and I can stand by. Come on, William.